Hello, welcome. I'm Katie, and today I have a deep hip stretch and exercise for you. So go ahead, get something comfy on, and let's begin by closing our eyes, sitting up nice and tall, feeling your breath. Where is it today? And when you're ready, go ahead, take some nice deep breaths in, and let it go with the exhale, softening anything that might be tight. One more just like that. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to make our way down onto our backs. So you can go however you want. If you want, you can start to roll down nice and slow. We're going to take the right knee into the chest here and the left leg, let it go long. If this is too much, you can always bend that left leg. From here, again, we're just going to soften our muscles with our breath. So nice big inhales. Thinking of God, exhale, soften anything that might be tight. Doing that a couple more times. Notice if you're clenching the jaw, the shoulders, where might it be tight so that you can really focus on releasing that. Good, and from here you're going to take the knee and start to bring it over a little bit to the left. It could be, depending on how tight you are, to the center of your body, or maybe you can go a little bit more to the opposite side of your torso. But notice when you're starting to do that, if your hip likes to pick up, keep the hip grounded. Good, and from here, you're gonna start to bring the knee back to neutral, bend that left leg. We're gonna go into figure four, or a lying pigeon. So with that right knee, you're gonna start to kick it out. And for some, this might be enough. For others, if you're able to, flex the feet and start to pick up that left leg. You can thread your hand, that right hand, in between that hole in your legs and pull the left thigh in. You're going to feel a nice stretch on the right side of your hip, more by the butt glute area too. We're going to hold it for a few breaths. So again, nice big inhales, inviting in the love and God into your space. With the exhale, again, releasing any tension. When you're able to really release and let go, that's when your muscles can start to lengthen a little bit more too. One more big breath. And this time with the exhale, slowly and controlled, bring the left foot down, uncross the right. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the left leg comes in, knee into the chest. Your choice. If this feels good, stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, take that right leg out straight. You can close the eyes if you want, or just soften them. Again, with your inhales, thinking of God. Exhaling you and releasing any tension. One more big breath. And this time the knee again can come more towards the midline or go over more towards the right side of the body. But again, notice my hip, if I'm starting to turn and keep it up, you're already taking it out of the area. So just try to keep the hips grounded and move the leg where it feels good for a stretch. Good. From here with your next inhale, go ahead, bend that right leg, bringing that left ankle right above the knee. You can take the left hand and push the leg open. And if this is enough, stay here. If you want a little bit more, flex the feet, start to pick up the right leg. Taking the left hand, thread that needle in the hole that you have created. And interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, pulling the leg towards your center. You can always again take your left elbow and push it against the left thigh for a little bit more. And just listen to your body. If this is too much, go back to what we did. Or if you like a different variation, try it out. Maybe you're a little bit more flexible and you want to grab a hold of your foot and knee, like a cradling the baby, because then you can go a little bit deeper. You can, if it's too much, again, just go back to what we did already. We're just staying here a little bit, again, softening through the face and any other areas that might be tight. Good, one more full breath. With your exhale, nice, slow and controlled, bring the legs down, uncrossing them. And when you're ready, we're going to roll on over to our bellies. And from here, go ahead, push the tops of the feet into the mat, same with the pubic bone. Taking your right hand, reach for that right ankle. If it's not available, this is where you can grab a towel or a belt, something to help. Otherwise, grab a hold of it and bring the heel into the butt. If that's okay for you, this is, again, make sure your pubic bone's pushing down into the mat. And now try to think of the right knee lengthening out towards the bottom of the mat. You're going to feel a nice stretch now on the front of the hip area, maybe on the quads, the front of the thigh. Again, nice deep breaths. And with your exhale, softening the face, the shoulders. And one more breath. With your exhale, slow and controlled, release the foot. And switch arms. You're now going to take the left arm, bringing it to the left ankle. Try to get the heel going towards the butt. And again, if this is not available and you start to bend through the spine to reach it, just get a strap. This way you can keep the integrity of the body. Pushing into the pubic bone here. And then think of that left knee reaching out towards the bottom of the mat. So that's the only thing I really want you to try to keep tight is those focal points. Pubic bone pushing down, knee reaching. Other than that, with your exhales, try to soften anything else. Again, we're here spending time with God, so breathe Him in. And breathe out you. One more full breath. And when you're ready, slowly release the foot. We're going to put our hands underneath our shoulders and come up for a baby cobra at first, pulling yourself forward, chest comes up. You can stay here if you're tight in some areas, or if you'd like, you can start to push up for the full cobra, giving a nice stretch in the front of the hips. And reach up, peeling the shoulders away from the ears. And with your exhale, let the butt come back for child's pose. And breathe in here. This time you can breathe into the back line of your body. Really feel the rib cage expand in the back with the inhale. And with your next inhale, push into the hands and come on up for tabletop. With tabletop, you want your knees underneath the hip points and wrist underneath the shoulders. Push away from the mat. And then we're just going to warm up the back a little bit. Let the tailbone come up. The belly's going to come down, chest and chin up. And then moving with your breath. Exhale, doing the opposite. Inhales to come up. Exhale down. One more time. Good, and from here, notice how your hands feel pretty balanced, the weight. We're going to start to take our right knee up and back and see if your weight likes to shift one way or the other. Try to keep it balanced, The best way I can try to tell you that will help to keep the balance is bringing your left hip into midline. When that, we're gonna make little circles, or big circles rather, with our knee that is lifted. So nice big circles with the right leg. Going nice and slow, maybe connecting with the breath. Inhale to come up. Exhale down. Good, when you're ready, the next exhale, you're gonna bring the knee down. We're gonna switch legs. I'm just gonna show you a different view of what I mean. When you pick up your left knee, again, make sure that your hands are evenly distributing the weight. And if not, your right hip might be coming out. If your right hip's coming out, you're gonna be dumping a lot more weight into that right hand. So suck the right hip into center and then move the knee for the circles. Moving with your breath. Inhales up. Exhale down. One more. Good. From here, I'm going to have you take your right foot and replace it with the right hand. We're going into a lunge. So go ahead, try to get your chest up if you're able to. If this doesn't feel good on the knee, you can double up on the mat. Or you can always find some blocks to help take off some of the weight. So we're just going to stay here for a little bit. And depending on how you want to stretch today, you might just feel good with that breath, with the exhale releasing and just kind of sinking into it. I know I like to do more of a active stretch where you're activating the muscles, and in addition, you're stretching them. So you're going to activate the legs if you want to do this with me. Think of the legs kind of coming together like scissor legs. And then from here, you're still keeping that tightness, like they're trying to come together. So some muscles are contracting and shortening. And then while you're doing that, now you're going to try to lengthen the other ones. Stay here for one more breath. And then with your exhale, go ahead and release the tension and see if you got a little bit further down. From here, with your next exhale, you're going to straighten that front leg, diving down into the half splits. Now you're going to feel it on the hamstring. Nice stretch here, flexing the front foot. Same thing, you can just do a nice stretch, trying to release any tension with that exhale, melting into it. Or if you want, especially if you ever feel pain in the back of the knee, you should never hang in anything because then you might be hurting your tendons. So go ahead, pushing into the heel this time. That's going to help activate the back line of your muscles, the ones that we are stretching. Then go ahead and go into the stretch. You're not going to go as far because some of those muscles are shortening. And stay here with the breath. And it's always okay to bend the knee, especially if you ever feel it behind the knee. With your next exhale, go ahead and start to release the contraction a little bit and see if you can go a little bit further. Going slow, not trying to be in pain at all, just feeling a nice stretch. We're going to move with our breath. Inhales to come up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhales up. Exhale down. Last one. Good. This time with your inhales to come up, you're still keeping the legs just where they are. Your left hand's going to go underneath your left shoulder, and then inhale, the right one's going to come up for a little spinal twist. So you might just stay here, moving with the breath. Exhale, you can come back down. Inhale up. Or you can stay still. It does not matter. We're just stretching the back line of the leg. And for some, you might be more flexible, and you can start to lift the back leg up and reach that right hand for the top of the foot. Opening up through the chest. Staying here with whatever variation you have. You might be up or back for the foot. 2 more breaths. And with your next inhale, slowly come up. Releasing the foot down if that was your variation. And then we're going to pick up the back knee. We're going to do kind of the same thing that we did, but the knee's going to be lifted. So inhale, the chest's going to come up. Exhale, dive into it. Moving with your breath. Inhales up. Exhale back. One more time. And this time, inhale, the front knee's bent. This time, really put your hands, try to go underneath your shoulders. Pick up the front foot and try to get the knee behind the right wrist. We're going to go down into a pigeon, and that left leg is going to start to slide back. If at any point you feel anything in the knee, stop and do what we did in the beginning, a lying pigeon. So you don't want the weight on the knee. You can just lie down on your back. So start to slide into it. And if it feels good, you should feel a nice stretch more by the glute or the butt area and the outside of the hip. You can stay up here, or you can start to come down. You can rest your weight on your forearms, head on the hands, however you want to stay here for a little bit. And if you're not feeling a stretch, that's when you can start to come out a little bit more with that right foot. So again, take it to your level of practice. You never want to feel it on the knee. If again you do, that's when you're going to go back to the heel by the groin area, or this is where you're lying down for the pigeon. So however again, it feels best for you. Soften through the face. Releasing any tension with those exhales. Again, inhale God and all of His grace. Exhaling you and any tension or stress. Good. When you're ready, inhale, you're going to start to come on up. We're going to bring that front leg to meet the back one and go into child's pose. Staying here for a couple breaths. When you're ready, you're going to push into your hands. Inhale, come on up. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. So the left foot's going to replace that left hand. Go ahead into that nice stretch, getting the chest up and open if you can. And just settle here with the breath. Again, you can double up on the mat for the knee. You can find some blocks or books to offload the weight. And then same thing, you can always just stay here or activate the legs like they're trying to come together, contracting some of those muscles while you're going to still try to stretch it. Softening with those exhales. And then go ahead, start to straighten that front leg, flexing the front foot for half splits. So you always want your hips over the back knee. Never want to feel it again on the front of that knee. If you do, bend it. Your hamstrings are just really tight. And it's okay. You got to start where you're at. Be kind. So same thing. Just stay here feeling a nice stretch, trying to relax the muscles. Or if you wanted more of that active stretch, you're going to push into the heel, activating the back line of the leg, and then try to go into the stretch. Soften through the face. 2 more full breaths. Good. With your next inhale, we're going to start to move with our breath. Come on up with the chest. Exhale, down, straighten the leg. Inhale to come up. Exhale, down. One more time. Good. This time, inhale, bend the front leg. Taking that left hand, we're going to start to bring it on up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Again, you can stay here doing that with your breath, or if you are a little bit more limber, you can bend that back knee and reach for it. Just open up through the chest, though. Couple more breaths. Relaxing through the face. When you're ready, inhale, come back up and around. And then tuck the back toes under here. You're going to come into that high lunge. And with your exhale, go ahead diving into the front of the leg for another hamstring stretch. Inhale up. Exhale back down. 2 more with your breath. Nice and slow. Noticing what feels good or where it might be tight. Sending a little love to that area. And softness. Good. When you're ready, you're going to bend that front leg. Set the hands down again. Picking up that front foot. Get that left knee behind that left wrist. And slide your back leg out. So again, be kind, go slow, so you can never feel if you're pinching the knee at all. If you feel it in the knee, all that really means is that your hips are really tight, and instead of moving from the hips, you're starting to create strain on the knee. So again, if you feel pain on the knee, that's when you lay down on your back. Otherwise, go deeper into the pigeon. You can stay up here, you can go onto your forearms. You can rest the head on the hands, or you can take that front leg out more into a 90-degree angle. And do what feels good here. And just soften through the face, the shoulders, telling them to relax. And then the hips with your exhale, really melting down into it a little bit more. Good. With your next inhale, slowly start to come on up. And then take that front foot, go back to meet your other one. Go into a child's pose. Staying here for a couple more breaths. You can rock out the hips a little bit. And pushing into the hands. Inhale, lift yourself up. And then from here, go ahead, cross at the ankles and come into a nice seated position. From here, again, it just depends on how tight your hips are. We're going to first start with bringing, they call it cow face pose. So you're going to bring your knees, see if they can stack. If they stack, this is where you're going to want to stay. And you can always bring it out more by having your feet come out more. And again, you can stay up here, come on down here, however you want. Most of you are probably not going to be able to stack your knees, so there are other options. This is just when you can stay up here trying to get one leg. Let's start with the right leg. So the right leg's going to come on up, bend. The left one stays down. Pick up the right one, and you're just doing like a half of the cow face. So you can stay here and feel a nice stretch by pulling it in. And if you want, you can, again, stay here or start to come down letting the knee fall down if it may. If it stays up here again, that's great too. You never want to force it by pushing down below the knee, because again, you don't want it to move at the knee, you want it to move at the hip. So if you want to add a little gentle, a little bit more weight behind it, go ahead and put your hands on the thigh area. And stay here. You can stay here or in that cow face pose. Wherever you're at, just a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, inhale, chest is going to come up. We're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So if the cow face pose was your thing, switch legs. The left one's going to be on top. Match up the knees and go into it, whatever feels good. The other, my other students, this is where you're going to take the right leg straight. The left knee's going to come in again. You can stay up here trying to get the chest nice and tall. Maybe cross over at the foot, or you can hug in the leg, feeling a nice stretch. Because that's mainly what you're stretching in that cow face pose is right here, by the butt area and the outer hip. So if you feel it here, stay here. If you wanted to try to, again, get the knees to match up with one leg straight, you can start to do that. And just honor your body. Be happy with where you're at. And know that you can find growth by practicing. So again, inhale, thinking of God. Exhaling you. One more time. With your exhale, letting go of any of the worries, the stress, any tension. Good, next inhale. Come and unwrap the legs. We're just going to bring the soles of the feet together and come into butterfly. So it doesn't matter how far your feet come in. Go where it feels good. As long as your back stays up nice and straight. You can flutter your butterfly if you want. Or if you want, you can find a little bit more stillness. Start to fold into it. Using your elbows to push down on the thighs. Relaxing. Again, if you hold any tension in the face, I know I'm one that likes to clench my jaw. So anytime I notice it, try to release it. Soften through the eyes. Your next inhale, slowly start to come on up. Good. Bring the knees in together and rock and roll it on back. Or find your way another way back down to the mat. Good. From here, you can settle in for Shavasana. I do want to show you one more thing to do the cow face pose. If that was even too much, I should have mentioned this. You can always just do it lying down, where you would just cross over your right leg on top of the left, and then just bring the knees to the chest. That's another great way to warm up for cow face pose. So if you want, you can do that one more time, switching legs. You can do a happy baby, holding on to the feet, being creative or fun with the legs. From here, go ahead, settle yourself down. You can keep your legs at the butterfly if you like. You can cross them. Go ahead. Again, noticing if you're holding any tension in the face, by the eyebrows, the forehead, the jaw, telling it all to release. With your next exhale, telling the shoulders to draw down into gravity. And letting your breath start to settle. No manipulation at this point. You can just watch the breath. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Namaste.